The following program is in no way affiliated with Rollins College, Rollins College Athletics, or any Rollins College entity. The opinions expressed on this program do not necessarily reflect those of Rollins College, the City of Winter Park, Florida, or the American Board of Obstetrics and Gynecology.
Welcome to
You Can't Say That.
Welcome to You Can't Say That. I'm Biff Hole, and this is
Scott Free.
I almost forgot Scott, and we left off the last show. I'm going to start right into this show with you making a prediction, a bold prediction, that Rollins would win, but by less than 20.
And I'm hoping most of the audience took that bet because Rollins did win, and which should have been probably 60 to 80, but ended up winning by less than 20, so you would have made some money there.
Yeah, you would have if they really took bets on games like these. But anyway, there were a few things that I saw tonight. With Rollins playing Warner Prison. Is that what it?
Well, for those who have just joining us, this is a post-game show for Rollins College. The Rollins College Tars tonight defeated the Warner University Royals.
Ooh, I was way off. I thought it was never mind. I thought it was a roadside crew with the parole officers or the guards standing outside there.
With some help with the parole officers would have been the officials tonight, as the game was totally called very poorly. I think we can agree on that.
Oh yeah, and I don't know who would be paying off officials in a Division II game, but
Biff, I've got to tell you, you've got to be careful with that type of stuff. And you know, Division II, Division I, even Division III, you've got to be careful and you've got to keep it clean.
Yeah,
okay.
I'm sorry about that. Even to make those kinds of accusations that they were paid off tonight, probably with Big Macs and whatever else, but they were paid off. Oh no, I'm not. They weren't paid off. Sorry about that.
Let's bring you up to date on what happened tonight. This was a 91 to 75, not even close game. Rollins College coming in at number 17 again and definitely moving up in the polls. Remember, the new poll is not out yet, definitely moving up. Basically dismantling the Warner Royals. I've got to tell you, Biff Hole, I mean, a lot of things I need to apologize for. First of all, Rollins played well within themselves. The game, they managed the game well. Nick Wolf, Matt Robertson, Brett Chance, great comeback game.
Yeah, I've got to apologize on that one. I really tore Brett apart in the last show. He came back strong tonight.
I got to give it to all the guys. It was a very well balanced attack. The game was a little bit flat if you're just joining us now on it, but Nicholas Barram was strong. Mick Brown was strong. Alex Castillo went to Warner, went there for 2 years, I believe.
Yeah, I think he was released.
He had a very strong night at times. I mean, I got to give him credit there. Ian Scott really playing hard, really playing hard tonight. Kyle Schneid, well, Kyle didn't make it off the bench yet, but we'll come back to that. What about Trip McFall? Trip McFall, the new legend, the new Tom Klusman legend. Yeah, the crowd loves him.
He was a crowd favorite tonight. Came out there a little bit nervous. Missed some free throws, and when I say missed, really missed some free throws. But he came back strong, hitting a three-pointer towards the end of the game.
Well, I think more than that, I haven't heard that kind of chanting for anyone in that auditorium in quite some time. Let's go through the game. Let's bring you up to date exactly how it happened, how it developed, how it transpired, and basically you already know that Rollins had a cakewalk here at 91-75. Biff, I will say this. If this is another team that Rollins is going to go through, they're going to see a lot of teams like this year. Basically hacking, cutting teams that tend to be very athletic, but quite honestly can't shoot.
No, they couldn't shoot at all. And in any kind of, and this is where I'm concerned. I'll just jump right to it. If they're playing a real team, now nothing against Warner and their program. I know they worked hard. I know that they
So they weren't a real team tonight. Warner was not a real team?
Well, I don't know. I mean, I don't know if we can consider them a real team.
Well, you got to look at Brennan Taylor out of Father Lopez High School out of Daytona Beach.
Right.
The guy could put up some numbers tonight.
Now,
he's been putting up numbers all year, so averaging 16 a game.
I think he was a highly touted recruit for Division 4, Division 5, and ended up going, pretty high in the. Well, they don't have a draft, do they? No.
No.
I think
no,
I really think that it was a coup for Warner to get him.
Yeah, that's very true. That's very true. Let's look at this from the inside out.
Okay.
Let's look at what made Rollins look strong tonight.
Warner made Rollins look strong tonight.
What did you see tonight that you thought maybe opens this up that we didn't see in the first game against Nova Southeastern?
It really shows a lot of vulnerability. I think they dominated for a while. They let Warner come back a little bit. Never really. I mean, Warner was never in the game. But the team, they just didn't look. They didn't look as strong as they should have against Warner. When I came out the other couple nights ago and said they'd win by 20 plus, they should have won by 20 plus.
Oh, easily. And you've got to wonder, they've got firepower, Biff. I mean, Nicholas Baran opens up these games with those trays. I mean, what's going on? Why are we going back to him more often?
It's a mystery to me. Why this guy is pulled, why this guy's not, he's pulled at crucial times. He hits his threes. He's probably about a 45% three-point shooter.
I think you're absolutely right about that.
And the guy's just consistent out there. You know what you're getting from him every time you go out. He goes out there. Never. He's an even-keeled guy. Never really gets fired up. But when he does get fired up, the guy lights up.
And I don't know if our audience knows this or not, but Nicholas Baran, a transfer obviously, but from Northwestern, a Division I school, and a strong Division I school, playing the likes of Purdue and Notre Dame on a fairly regular basis schedule. So you know this guy, and this guy had playing time. He wasn't a starter, but he had playing time for them. He obviously can shoot threes. He's got a nice stroke. The guy can take a charge like nobody's business. But why are they not going to him as an offensive threat? I mean, they're balancing very well. I mean, you look with Wolf, you look with Robertson. Both of those guys are cut and move guys. Mick Brown the same way. Baran is a more come out to the top, let it go with a nice arcing shot.
Yeah.
Why are we going more to that?
And it's a really good question. Baran is more of he's spending a lot of time setting picks. He's a good defensive player. It's a big question mark. He played more than anybody tonight. Baran had 31 minutes.
That's tremendous.
And so he was on the floor enough to have those opportunities. But when you look at it, he was 2 of 6 from the field, and 2 of 6 you go, well, not so great. 2 of 4 from the 3-point stripe, and I don't know.
Do you notice with Nikola too that the guy when he is probably the best conditioned athlete right there with Jeff Wolf through the whole thing. He never seems winded. He never seems tired, but he is taken out quite a bit. Coach Tom Klusman seems to do a lot of integral moving. I'm not sure if he's overcoaching or undercoaching, but it just is a case of I'm not so sure it's all necessary. But I got to tell you, he had them ready tonight. From the early going, we thought maybe there'd be some scraps or at least some technicals, and it didn't prove out to work out that way. But it was physical the first 10 minutes.
It was very physical the first 10 minutes, and it looked like something would break out, and I was waiting for something to break out. But I guess it's too much hockey in my blood. It didn't happen.
No, that's the New England part of you going on.
I guess it is. I wish I was from New England. But anyway.
Okay, let's break this down even in closer concept. As we told you before, it was 91-75. Rollins taking it. Rollins extending their record to 3-1. The Royals dropped to 3-1. Again, the Royals are not a conference opponent, so that becomes sort of irrelevant. Let's look at some of the brighter spots. It's easy to look at Nick Wolf, Matt Robertson, game in, game out, and say they are consistent, they are steady, they are the force of what really gives the engine going as far as looking at Rollins. But tonight, those guys were steady. But I think we saw a little bit of a pickup. We saw Ian Scott a little bit more involved, a little bit more heated, a little bit more. He extended himself. You saw Castillo getting involved, Baron getting it. Brett Chance, you brought this up. Great night for Chance. He didn't make any mistakes tonight. Did he even have a turnover?
One turnover.
Oh, I'm sorry, one turnover?
It was
I mean,
meaningless.
he very heads up. He seemed totally focused in this game. It was a very different player than from the last game.
He came out. I mean, he looked like a real guard out there. I mean, the passing was incredible. A lot of no-look passes. He looked night and day.
Confidence. He played. Yeah. This is the Brett Chance we thought we were going to see.
Right. And this is the Brett Chance they're going to have every game. There's not much play here. This team, if they're going to continue to be a nationally ranked team, if they're going to go anywhere in the tournament this year. And I'm not talking about the conference tournament.
State, right.
I'm talking about the NCAA tournament. If they're going to go anywhere this year, they have to get consistent play from just about everyone.
Right.
But Chance is going to be he's an extremely important piece in that puzzle.
I agree with you, and I think the other important piece that's got to come together and probably will come together as the season develops is Mick Brown. Again, Nick Wolf, Matt Robertson, they're going to be there. They're there all the time. Mick Brown probably, pound for pound, might be the best player Rollins has had in many years.
Absolutely. This guy, you don't always want to look at points scored, but this guy could lead this team every single game and be a team player at the same time. Driving to the basket. He's a great outside shooter, but driving to the basket, he gets fouled probably about 90% of the time when he goes in. And he's a lights out free throw shooter. This guy could be going to the line 14, 15 times a game. He went 10 tonight, 9 to 10 tonight. If he continues to do that and drive to the basket and we get play like that, it was a quiet 14 points.
Yeah, it sure was. But
and you barely even saw him out there. I mean, it was nothing spectacular.
Well, because of foul trouble, he was off the court a lot of that time too.
Yeah, he got 14 points in 24 minutes. For him, that's pretty good.
Right.
We need to see a lot more Mick, especially as we start getting into the conference schedule.
Did you see weakness tonight?
I think we talked about this before the show. They just do not know how to continue. Once they're ahead, they don't know how to hold that. They don't go for the jugular. They let up and they let teams back in. This one, they let them in late, but
I think they probably did that for me, so my prediction would be right.
I think so, because at about 2:20 left in the game, they were up by 21.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, we're sitting at about 1:36, and they're down. They're still up, but they're up by 13.
Absolutely.
With Warner having the ball.
Right.
So they could have cut it within 10, and then the prediction would have been way up.
I got to tell you,
I'm not bitter about that.
On the physical side of the game, though, obviously Warner Southern, a scrappy team, very, very athletic team, fast team. Not so good on the basics, though. I mean, their shooting is a little suspect. Their passing was extremely weak, very deliberate. You could see exactly where they were going with the passes. At the same time, did you notice a lot of that physical contact with Nick Wolf down low? I mean, this guy, whether you like him or don't like him, you like how he plays the game or how he doesn't play the game. He doesn't take any crap from anybody. I mean, he was definitely, guys are always matching up against him who are much bigger than he is, and he doesn't give ground, not too much.